Welcome to the 1935 Italian Grand Prix. Even though it's not a full Grand Prix, obviously, it's just a quick sprint because I'm gonna do some races with these cars in VR at certain tracks. But I don't want to do a full Grand Prix like I would do because this ain't part of my last race thing. This is more just me having fun. In VR, pretty much. Also just in racing in general. I wanted to do this one, even though it's not correct historically, but it's the most correct you can get for this. And this is the closest layout we can get to this. This race was actually kind of weird. I don't know why the race went the way it did, but it went the way it did. It was a little weird. Partly because there was a lot of shuffling around in the racing, position-wise. So right now, I believe we're around I think 7th, now 6th, and I didn't even realize I was even up this far because I wasn't expecting to even be that good. Because one, I haven't drove this car in a long time, and two, the wheel spin is insane, and the braking is pretty much non-existent. As I don't remember exactly, yeah, it was because I tried to pass those two and I thought I could make it, and I realized I couldn't, and I was like, nah, we're not going to make the corner, so we're just going to back her up real quick, and then get back going again. Because I wanted to make this race as clean as possible, even though I had a couple of incidents, I think we had one actual, contact, and then, if I remember correctly, we almost spin out multiple times coming off the banking, because one, the banking would not be that big in this time. It would actually be way shorter, but since we can't, I don't know why somebody hasn't made a version of this track yet. This is the closest I've been able to get, so might as well. So as we come around to get our number lap 2, as you see there, the big moment there, almost completely wrecking. And the uncharacteristic thing up there with Nuvolari, I believe it was this year, it was when he beat the auto unions and the Mercedes in the Nürburgring German Grand Prix race in his Alfa Romeo, I think it was Triple B, I think that's what it was called. And the more and more I read about him, the more and more I realized that he was kind of like the AJ Foy, Mario Andretti, and Dan Gurney of the 30s, pretty much. He was good in every car that he drove, and any vehicle he drove, because he used to do motorcycle racing. He was really good at that too. And then he got into these cars, four-wheel car racing, and he just hit it off like it was no big thing, you know. He won a track 5 times, and there was a 4-year streak that he won at a Grand Prix. And then he won the Mille Miglia, I think it was only once. That's a feat of its own, because you have back then even now there's like hundreds of cars that line up for the Mille Miglia, even though now it's more of a rally, but still you still have that big field size. As you see, I almost wrecked right there. That was the closest I got to actually wrecking right there, and I believe somebody spun back there. Now that I look in the mirror, I didn't look in the mirror when I was racing. That's probably why we kept our position where we finished, was because they got hung up back there, and probably why I think 2 more people fall out of the race here. But I think this is Rosemeyer in front of us. You see Herman Lang fall out of the race, and then whoever it was before him, yeah, Bernd Rosemeyer in front of us. Rosemeyer, I don't know why I said Rosemeyer. I don't know why I could not get the power down in the banking. I just could not get it to work for me. I think it was mostly because for some reason I could not really see on the banking here. It was just so weird. And it's probably because I haven't been on a banking like this in this type of car and with this type of like feeling before. Like it was a weird feeling. And then for some reason Rosemeyer pits, and that pretty much gives me 3rd place, because Hans stuck is laps down, or a lap down, and then Manfred and I believe who was it first if I look back in time. It was an Alfa Romeo, that's all I remember who was leading. I think it's Difrus? Or Rifrus? I don't know who it was. I have to wait until I look over to be able to know who was in the lead. Yeah, Rudolph in 5th there, as you see the bottom of his last name there, and then somebody's in front of him. He eventually passes whoever was in front of him just now. As we get to the correct... Oh, it was Difrus. Reen and Difrus. And we almost overshot the corner in that lap, but luckily we didn't. And then Rudolph, I believe, if I remember correctly, gets 4th. If not, then he stays there. But I believe Rudolph gets past Paul there. We come up to 2 laps to go. I don't know why they were pitting in this race, because you didn't need to take fuel if you had a full tank. That was probably the wall collision I remember. It was barely getting hit, and I didn't even realize, but I don't remember if this was a lap or not. I think this was Hans that got around this. And in the race, I thought it was for position, but I realized it wasn't now. And thank God I didn't race it like it was positioned, because I started backing off, as you can see there, because I was not trying to ruin this little quick race I was doing by going off track because of my stupidness and my greed. So knowing that now and me slowing down like I did, I have full right to say that I was not wrong. Yeah, I was correct. And then somebody got that fastest lap right there, but I don't know who it was, because I don't think I ever look over in time to see it. And if I remember correctly, 16 cars would have raced this race. And I have all the cars. I have all the real-life drivers and cars in this race. The Bugatti might be a different version of the car, but it's still a Bugatti, and it's still around the same time, so still used it, and I was like, it's good enough, you know? I think Rudolph was the fastest lap right there. Yeah, it was Rudolph. Rudolph Carlicola. Carlicola. I think that's how you say his last name. I think I remember it being like actually a lot easier to pronounce than what it looks like, and I just still don't remember how to pronounce it because I haven't really like watched anything recently, so my mind's kind of blank. We're trying to remember any of this. Right there, that was the one moment where right here I shouldn't have even tried to pass him, but I think it was fun anyways because I was trying to catch Manfred, and I don't know. This car is definitely the hardest car I've ever drove in my time as a sim racer, because in older cars, like in the 1900 cars or the 1912s or something like that, you're a lot slower, so you can anticipate it better. This thing is so fast, you can't anticipate it that well. You can try to anticipate it, but it's not going to work out as well. As you see me looking over, seeing that Hans pitted again. So I don't know what was up with that car. Don't know if something went bad with that car. And then I think this is Felipe in front of us. Because there was, I believe, 2 French drivers, and then it was like half and half after that with the Germans and Italians who were racing this race. Because there was 2 French drivers and then a lot of German and Italian cars with a lot of German and Italian drivers, because that's pretty much who dominated this era of racing until like Richard Seaman, which was, I believe, a Great Britain driver. I believe he was from Britain, if I remember correctly. And he and Nuvolari was, I believe, the only 2 non-Germans who actually ran for a German team, besides, I believe, the one guy that won the Tripoli race, and I think it was 1936, I think. To get by Bugatti, I believe. That was one of the guys that came out of the pit lane in front of us that we eventually caught down. I think it was actually a Maserati. Oh, Varsi. I don't know how to say his last name because I cannot pronounce his first name. I don't think. I think I'll mess that up. But he won a Tripoli race for the German cars, and he was actually Italian. So, if you think about it that way, they weren't monsters, and they weren't monsters when it came to racing. They were really good about being opportunists and knowing who was really good. Now, the other part of Germany, and the part I'm trying to suggest that, not really like that, but you know. In racing, they really wanted the best drivers. They didn't care where they came from. They wanted the best drivers. Even though they try to keep it more of just Germans driving their cars, but when they noticed somebody was really good, they wanted them to drive for them. But now we have for this race. We finished 3rd in a 5-lap Monza race. Now we have for this video, and we see you guys in, I think, like about 4 more videos, I think.